So my name's Jack Johnson. I'm from Boise, Idaho, and so last year I was on the NISLE program to Tajikistan. So this year I'm finishing up my senior year of high school. And so today I'm going to talk a little bit about further ways to learn Tajiki outside the classroom and the host family environment. But first, like Josephine, I'm going to describe to you guys what my host family situation was like. So I lived in an apartment pretty much right in the center of Dushanbe with only women. So I had a little bit of a different host family experience than almost everyone else because most people had a host dad or brother, which is customary in the Muslim society, but I was living with only women. So I had two host sisters who were 19 and 21. They both went to university in Russia, and then I lived with my host mom, Nasiba, who was before a really successful economist in the government of Emomali Rahmon and Maha, who worked as a secretary for the Tajik army, and then Ira, who was a surgeon who lived in Dubai in Iran because women aren't allowed to be surgeons or accredited doctors in Tajikistan. They can go to medical school, but they can't be doctors. But yeah, so I lived in an apartment, only women, had my own room. Okay, I suppose. So what did I do with my family? So I was in charge of doing the daily melon runs with my family. So I would walk down to the bazaar on Roy Hussein Zora, which runs perpendicular with the main street in town. And so I'd make a couple trips every morning to get a couple watermelons, which are tarbus in Tajiki, and then the cantaloupe-looking melons, which harbuza in Tajiki. So that was a big part of my daily routine. And then we watched a lot of, as you guys will discover once you guys go to Tajikistan, hopefully, the Tajik TV channels are terrible. I mean, they're good practice for Tajiki, but most people watch television in Russian. So we watched a lot of Star Trek and every Step Up movie in Russian. We had 2 meals a day, and on the weekends 3 meals a day, and we would just eat at the little dasarhon in our living room. But I'm here to talk about other ways to pursue Tajiki outside the classroom and the host family environment. So my host brother, who lived with us for about a week, but he lives in Kazan, Russia, came to visit, and he took me down to the Stadion Spartak. And so I joined a five-a-side team for soccer of guys made up from the Pamiri region. So I would play soccer about 4 times a week, and they all spoke Tajiki and English, but we mostly spoke in Tajiki because Pamiri guys speak in a different dialect than Tajikis. These are just pictures. We played five-a-side futsal, so if any of you guys are soccer players, I would recommend going to Stadion Spartak. But the Pamirs are just this region in Tajikistan. The river, my host sisters, host uncle, and another friend from the program, Jiran, from San Francisco, we would go down to the river after class. And the river was a great place to meet with a bunch of my host sisters' friends, because they're both doing grad programs in Tajikistan. One of them is going to Brussels now, but they're doing grad programs in Tajikistan. So they had a whole bunch of local friends, and so we go on the river to swim after class. And so talking with their friends, I felt was the best way to improve Tajiki. My friend and I. We also discovered a roller derby, my host sister and I. The roller derby was good for figuring out how to order things. You had to choose your shoe sizes, but that was a lot of fun as well. So something I found that helped me, my host family, when I wasn't around, spoke predominantly Russian, and the friends I met outside of class and outside my host family were mostly Afghan. And so I thought that the shared experience of not speaking awesome Tajiki actually improved mine, because we had to figure out simpler ways to get around talking to each other. So it was really good for basic practice, because you'll learn a lot of vocabulary from class and from being around your host family. But I thought speaking with people who weren't natives all the time was helpful to learning. But also I picked up a little bit on Dari, like Josephine was mentioning. Tajiki is incredibly similar to Dari and Farsi, which is spoken in Iran and Afghanistan. So it's kind of cool to explore different dialects. But tips, I would never speak anything but Tajiki with your host family, even if they speak English. Go out into Dushanbe. Especially if you have host siblings, I felt that I got Tajiki by talking with people outside of my host family and outside of class. I thought those were the most most valuable conversations I had in terms of furthering my language ability. Especially, you'll have taxi drivers that will take you to class every day. Talking with him was probably the best interaction I had all day, especially because your host family will try and dictate to you a little bit clearer, but the taxi drivers, and especially people on the street, will talk more like they would to other Tajikis. And so you have to kind of pick up the accent and identify what words and how people are talking. It was good for learning like colloquialism. But if you're an athlete, I suggest Stadion Spartak. There's always Tajik kids hanging out Stadion Spartak. I also played basketball with them as well. They were pretty disappointed with my basketball ability. And then if you have host siblings, cafes in town are actually a good place to go to meet their friends. I went to movie theaters, cafes with my host sisters, and the river as well, like I mentioned. But those are also good places to practice, especially with ordering things and